Once upon a time, in the shadowed heart of the ancient forest, there dwelled two fearsome monsters. Their names were Vex and Griselda, and they were unlike any creatures the world had ever seen. Vex, with his sinewy limbs and eyes like smoldering coals, had a mouth that dripped crimson. His teeth were jagged shards, stained with the blood of countless victims. He roamed the forest at night, seeking out lost travelers and unwary adventurers. When he found them, he would grin, revealing his gory maw, and whisper, "Fear not, for your suffering will be swift." Griselda, on the other hand, was a creature of the marshes. Her skin resembled rotting bark, and her eyes glowed like sickly lanterns. Her mouth was a gaping wound, the edges crusted with dried blood. She lured unsuspecting prey into the murky waters, promising them secrets and forbidden knowledge. But when they leaned in to listen, she would clamp her jaws shut, tearing their throats apart. The villagers spoke of these monsters in hushed tones, passing down stories from generation to generation. They warned their children never to venture into the forest after dark, for Vex and Griselda hungered for fresh blood. One moonless night, fate conspired to bring the two monsters together. Vex, drawn by the scent of a wounded deer, stumbled upon Griselda near the edge of the marsh. She was perched on a moss-covered rock, her mouth agape, waiting for her next victim. Their eyes met, and for a moment, neither moved. Then Vex grinned, revealing his crimson-streaked teeth. "What brings you to my domain, Griselda?" he hissed. Griselda tilted her head, her hollow eyes narrowing. "I could ask you the same, Vex. This forest belongs to me." The tension between them crackled like lightning. They circled each other, sizing up their opponent. Vex's claws flexed, and Griselda's mouth twitched, eager for the taste of fresh blood. But then, an unexpected thing happened. Vex laughed, a low, guttural sound that echoed through the trees. "Perhaps," he said, "we've been going about this all wrong. Instead of tearing each other apart, why not join forces?" Griselda cocked her head. "Join forces? For what purpose?" "To strike fear into the hearts of mortals," Vex replied. "Imagine their terror when they encounter not one, but two monsters. We'll be legends, Griselda." She considered his proposal. "And what do I get in return?" "Knowledge," Vex said. "I've seen things, ancient spells, forgotten rituals, that could grant you power beyond your wildest dreams." Griselda hesitated. The allure of forbidden knowledge tugged at her like a fishhook. "Agreed," she said, "but only until the next blood moon." And so, Vex and Griselda became an unholy duo. They haunted the forest together, their bloody mouths grinning in tandem. Villagers whispered of the twin monsters, their terror compounded by the realization that escape was impossible. But as the blood moon approached, Griselda grew restless. She wondered what secrets Vex kept hidden, what dark magic he wielded. And so, on the eve of the moon's rise, she crept into his lair, her mouth dripping anticipation. There, she found a dusty tome, an ancient grimoire filled with incantations and forbidden knowledge. As she read, her eyes widened. Vex had been right, the power contained within those pages was intoxicating. But as the moon climbed higher, Griselda made her decision. She would not share this newfound magic with Vex. Instead, she whispered an incantation, one that would sever their unholy alliance. When Vex woke the next morning, he found himself alone. Griselda had vanished, leaving behind only a smear of blood on the forest floor. His rage knew no bounds, and he vowed to hunt her down. And so, the legend of the twin monsters continued, but now, they were enemies. Vex sought revenge, while Griselda delved deeper into forbidden magic. Their paths would cross again, but next time, only one would emerge with a mouth still dripping crimson. And that, my friend, is the tale of Vex and Griselda, the monsters with bloody mouths who danced on the edge of darkness. Ah, the fateful reunion of Vex and Griselda, the twin monsters with mouths that dripped crimson. As the blood moon loomed large in the night sky, their paths converged once more. Vex, fueled by rage, tracked Griselda through the twisted forest. His claws left gouges in the ancient trees, and his eyes blazed with a hunger for vengeance. Griselda, however, had not been idle. She had delved deeper into forbidden magic, unlocking secrets that even Vex could not comprehend. Her mouth, still crusted with dried blood, whispered incantations that sent shivers down the spines of creatures far and wide. When they finally faced each other, it was in a moonlit clearing, a place where reality blurred, and the veil between worlds grew thin. Vex's crimson mouth twisted into a snarl, while Griselda's hollow eyes bore into his soul. "You betrayed me," Vex spat, his voice a guttural growl. "You stole the magic meant for both of us." Griselda's laughter echoed through the night. "Magic is power," she said, "and power is never meant to be shared." Their battle was fierce, a dance of claws, teeth, and dark spells. Vex lunged, but Griselda sidestepped, her mouth opening wide. She unleashed a curse, a vortex of shadows that threatened to consume him. Vex fought back, slashing at the air with claws that left trails of crimson light. He chanted forgotten incantations, drawing on the ancient energy of the forest. But Griselda was relentless, her mouth a conduit for forces beyond comprehension. As the blood moon reached its zenith, their struggle intensified. The ground trembled, and the very air crackled with magic. Vex glimpsed visions of worlds unraveling, stars collapsing as Griselda's power threatened to tear reality apart. And then, in a final desperate gambit, Vex lunged at Griselda. His teeth sank into her shoulder, and she screamed, a sound that echoed across dimensions. But as he tasted her blood, something shifted. Griselda's laughter turned manic. "You fool," she whispered. "Did you think my blood was ordinary?" Vex's vision blurred. He felt himself unraveling, memories slipping away. Griselda's blood was a conduit, a bridge to realms beyond. And now, he was part of that bridge. In that moment, Vex understood. Griselda had orchestrated this from the beginning of their alliance, their feud, the stolen magic. She sought not revenge, but transcendence. As Vex faded into the cosmic tapestry, he glimpsed Griselda's true form, a creature of starlight and void. She grinned, her mouth no longer bloody but radiant. "Thank you," she whispered, and then she, too, dissolved into the night. And so, the legend of Vex and Griselda took a final twist. They became constellations, two monsters forever entwined in the celestial dance. Their mouths no longer dripped crimson, but instead spilled forth galaxies and dreams. And somewhere, in the heart of the ancient forest, a new tale began, a whispered rumor of star-crossed monsters who defied death itself.